She was the air hostess on board the notorious Lolita Express, the billionaire's private jet at the center of a sex scandal making lurid headlines across the world. Sleazy Wall Street tycoon Jeffrey Epstein used the Lolita Express to ferry a bevy of beautiful young women. Among the passengers, former President Bill Clinton and Britain's Prince Andrew.
On almost every trip that I did go on, there were young girls around.
In this Inside Edition exclusive, Shantae Davies takes us inside the secret world of the Lolita Express, named for the controversial book and movie about a professor's infatuation with an underage girl. Shantae made several trips on Jeffrey Epstein's infamous Lolita Express. She says she was one of several young, attractive women hired to travel around the world, giving massages or yoga instruction to Epstein and his rich and powerful friends. When Shantae was hired, she was a struggling 22-year-old actress. She once played a lingerie model in a movie called Exposed.
These designs are really great.
Shantae worked as a masseuse, but says she never had sex with Epstein.
Did you ever think that maybe more was going on than simple massages?
Looking back, of course.
Was there a bed on the airplane?
Actually, yes, there was, yeah.
On one memorable flight on board a plane like this provided by Air Hollywood, she says she made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for passengers, including Oscar winner Kevin Spacey, actor Chris Tucker, and even Bill Clinton. They were all flying to Africa on a humanitarian mission, and Jeffrey Epstein had given them the use of his jet.
So you never gave President Clinton a massage?
No, I didn't.
Shantae says when the plane landed in Africa, Clinton took her shopping, but she says nothing improper occurred.
They had shut down a jewelry store for us, and I helped him pick out a bracelet for Chelsea.
It was a jet-set lifestyle for sure, but Shantae says she felt uncomfortable about being part of Epstein's collection of young women.
You saw young women around Jeffrey Epstein, and they didn't seem to have regular jobs, and you started wondering, why are they here?
Yes, yes.
When you look back, are there red flags that you should have seen at the time?
Definitely, yeah. Why fly anyone out to be a masseuse when there's plenty of masseuses in the same city that you're in?
Epstein served 13 months in prison for soliciting an underage girl for prostitution. Now just looking at the front page headlines the scandal has generated brings Shantae to tears.
To have to deal with that and then on top of it defend my character, I'll have children one day, you know, and they'll read this.
She wonders whether she'll ever be able to live down her time on the Lolita Express.
More than anything, I just felt stupid. Yeah, I felt duped.
But you were staying at the house of a convicted sex offender.
49 minutes from start to finish, Prince Andrew aiming to clear his name and tarnished reputation. Instead, what many found particularly offensive, the prince's repeated refusals to express any regret over his years of partying with Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced billionaire sex trafficker who died in prison.
Unbecoming. He was a sex offender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being polite.
And then there's the accusations from American Virginia Giuffre. She says she was forced by Epstein to have sex with the Duke of York on 3 occasions, once when she was just 17.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady.
So what of this photograph then? The prince admits it is him, but says it could have been doctored. In court documents, Giuffre has sworn to other specifics as a teen dancing with the prince at this London club. Impossible, he says. He was with his kids at this pizza place. As for her claims he was sweating profusely on the dance floor,
I didn't sweat at the time because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at.
The reaction from royal watchers, I expected a train wreck. That was a plane crashing into an oil tanker, causing a tsunami, triggering a nuclear explosion level bad.
If he was thinking it was going to go away, it certainly isn't going to go away. It's there for the world to see.
Because the interview took place inside Buckingham Palace, some have speculated the Queen was on board, but not necessarily.
I don't think you should read anything more into that other than the Queen gave her permission to use that room. I don't think the Queen would have given her approval for that had she known exactly what was coming. And I think she'll be pretty horrified by how that interview has gone.
So far, there's been no official response from the palace, and insiders say don't expect one. Shannon Martin, CBC News, Toronto.
You know, ordinarily, our office doesn't comment on whether an individual cooperates or doesn't cooperate with our investigation. However, in Prince Andrew's case, he publicly offered, indeed in a press release, offered to cooperate with law enforcement investigating the crimes committed by Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators. So I think in that context, it's fair for people to know whether Prince Andrew has followed through with that public commitment. So let me say that the Southern District of New York and the FBI have contacted Prince Andrew's attorneys and requested to interview Prince Andrew. And to date, Prince Andrew has provided zero cooperation.
And now to some breaking news. Federal investigators find a loaded gun inside the same Manhattan jail where Jeffrey Epstein killed himself last summer. CBS 2's Lisa Rosner is in Lower Manhattan with more.
Christine, this comes after a week-long lockdown. Officials heard a gun was smuggled in. They found it and a sizable amount of contraband. The Metropolitan Correctional Center has housed high-profile inmates, including Michael Avenatti and Jeffrey Epstein. It's supposed to be one of the most secure in America. But now the Federal Bureau of Prisons is investigating guard misconduct. A lockdown over the past week led officials to discover a loaded gun in a housing unit and contraband, including cell phones, narcotics, and homemade weapons. Investigators are continuing to search the jail as federal prosecutors try to determine how it all entered the facility. The Federal Defenders of New York says inmates cannot meet with their lawyers and are allegedly being denied showers and given cold meals. Feds tell the Associated Press there is a periodic shower rotation and all inmates have access to medical care. The Bureau of Prisons has notified the FBI and the Justice Department about the security breach. The U.S. Attorney's Office declined to comment. In Lower Manhattan, Lisa Rosner, CBS 2 News.